It's a pleasure to welcome to the program political commentator and author Ann Coulter. Ann, thanks so much for stopping by.
Sure, good to talk to you guys.
Great to talk to you, Ann. So what's new?
Nothing much. This and that. And you, Julia?
This and that, you know. Now, the last time you were in studio, we talked about, you've been a harsh critic of Trump. You've been a supporter of Trump, and I think that's what I like about you. You don't just blindly go, okay, great, it's fabulous. And one of the criticisms that you had was you're putting family in these positions, and that's never a good idea. And I couldn't agree more. Now we're seeing things starting to happen, and Kushner could be on the chopping block next. We know Hope Hicks is leaving. She gave her resignation yesterday. What more can you tell us about that? Do you know anything about her in specific?
No, I was very sorry to see her leave. I mean, the one thing I know about her is she was there from the beginning.
Now, everyone seems to like her. Dr. Drew was on. We were talking to him earlier, and he on the other show, and he is in Washington today. He's at the White House, and he went to a lunch hosted by Melania about opiate addiction because that's his specialty. And he said,
good.
"Yeah, it's really great." And he said the topic, of course, was Hope Hicks. And he said everyone was very, very down about it. They genuinely like this guy. I said they like looking at her. She's super gorgeous.
She's beautiful. She could be a model.
Oh, yeah. Well,
I think she was.
She was.
She's fabulous. And what I loved about her was she was there. There were only 3 of them running that campaign. Obviously, Trump most of all, but it was Corey Lewandowski, Hope, and Trump. And that was it for 10 months with the entire world exploding around them. And here's just this cool chick texting reporters back after Trump had said something that blew up the world. And she's just, cheerfully handling all of these media requests and never flustered. Go for a dip in the Mar-a-Lago pool and then go back to answering questions on her phone. Now, Maggie Haberman of the New York Times is reporting, and she says, no, the reporting is solid, that Hope has been thinking of leaving for a few months. I think the truly big news was the story that came out in the New York Times yesterday about Jared Kushner meeting with various CEOs of banks and hedge funds, 2 in particular, Citibank and this group Apollo, answering their concerns. And they do have concerns before the government. For example, one of the things I've been enraged about, not as enraged as the wall, but it's in my top 10 of the promises that Trump made and then has not kept, was that he promised over and over again that he was going to kill the hedge fund managers' carried interest loophole. It is a loophole. It's outrageous. I will discuss it more fully if anyone's interested in it, but we'll put a pin in that. It's utterly unfair. It's what Warren Buffett talks about all the time, and Trump is the only candidate I've ever heard promise to end it. Why? Because most of these candidates rely on the hedge funds for the donors. He gets into office with Wall Street donating, 90% of their money to Hillary and the other 10% to, some wacky third party candidate. He got none of Wall Street's money, and somehow the tax bill goes through, and oh gosh, look what's still there, that carried interest loophole. Well, these guys are bankers and hedge fund managers. They wanted to keep it. You have to kind of wonder now, I'm sorry, I guess I didn't get to the crucial part too. They meet with Jared in the White House and then give the Kushner family companies, the real estate companies that are in desperate need of money, massive loans, about $200 million in one case, $300 million in another. I also found out, which I didn't realize until I read the New York Times article, that contrary to what I had thought, I thought this had been said, Jared Kushner is not divested from the Kushner family companies. He divested a very small part by selling it to a trust controlled by his mother. But this, directly benefits him. He's in the White House. He's one of the most powerful people in the world by virtue of who his father-in-law is. You can't have bankers coming in influencing the government with important issues for them, for their bottom line, not for America's bottom line, leave the White House and then engage in a business transaction that is enormously helpful to one person. Well, one person and his family, Jared Kushner.
Jared is an extension of Ivanka, and now CNN is reporting that FBI and counterintelligence officials are investigating Ivanka, her business deal, or a business deal that she's done. I don't know exactly which one it is, but it's all sort of the same family that's going to profit, and I just think it's completely unethical.
Well, they should have never put any kind of family member in there, because there are reasons why nepotism doesn't work, because you can't, you have to maintain relationships with these people that are independent of business. You have to see them at Thanksgiving, you have to see them at Christmas,
how about the fact,
you can't fire them. You can't fire your son-in-law.
He hasn't even,
That's what makes me suspicious about the Hope Hicks thing. I mean, the story broke last night, and I thought, oh my gosh, this is the biggest scandal. It's Fast and Furious. You watched TV last night, and most of it was, oh, Hope Hicks resigned today. Hope Hicks, it's all about Hope Hicks resigned today. Well, if she has been, and I trust Maggie Haberman's reporting on this, you may have noticed a lot of the media saying, oh, come on, it's not, she hasn't been thinking of resigning, it's because of that testimony of hers the day before.
Right,
but I don't really think there's anything shocking about that. I mean, does no one
well, she didn't really,
she said it.
She didn't answer any of
this white lie thing. Do liberals not know what a white lie is? It's saying, oh, he can't take your call right now. Even if she said it, and I suspect it was in response to a question. But
she didn't answer a lot of their questions, and that was what brought, and yes, she did say white lies, but okay, so you're saying it doesn't have to do with...
Liberals are already suspicious.
Well, of course.
And Maggie Haberman, I think quite rightly, of the New York Times, slapped them back and said, this is where people come up with the fake news. You trust your own, oh, but she testified the day before. No, my reporting says she's been thinking of resigning for months now. But
given you that, also, I just want to mention...
I'm trying to get back to Jared. Hang on, I'm just about at the conclusion here. It makes you wonder... if she's been thinking about this for months, why did they release it the same day the story is going to break about Jared? Why did Trump announce today that he's going to put these trade sanctions or tariffs on? Which, by the way, I totally support. But when you have your family's business interests involved, why was the carried interest not eliminated? All of these decisions. You think, oh, this is all, to help Jared, who was unfireable. And I'd also add at this point, look, it's different for the president. It is a problem. I don't think there's any reason to be angry at Trump for the fact that he is a businessman. He's has a very unusual background coming into the presidency. We all knew it before he was elected. I think he's divested or done as much as he can. That's going to be a problem. There's no reason to be mad at him for it. I mean, he's not going to sell Mar-a-Lago. But it is an issue that has to be dealt with. He is the president under the Constitution. That doesn't mean you extend the problem by hiring your kids.
Right. And as of today, CNN is reporting that the counterintelligence officials are scrutinizing one of Ivanka Trump's international business deals. The FBI is looking into negotiations of financing surrounding Trump International Hotel and Tower in Vancouver, according to U.S. official and former U.S. officials. The scrutiny could be a hurdle for the first daughter as she tries to obtain full security clearance. That's another thing. Jared, he's got one of the guys who knows a lot of the top secrets, but he doesn't have full security clearance. That's a little disturbing to me as a citizen.
They should cut bait with both of them.
He should have never put them in there in the first place.
I don't think he will, because it's the princeling Jared, his son-in-law. It is very bad. It was bad the day before I think I heard that Jared has amended his security clearance form something like 40 times, which is quite a large number of times. His security clearance got downgraded to, quote, secret, which is, basically what a guy on the street has. That itself is a problem, but I really think this issue of meeting with people who are then loaning your family, and in the case of Apollo, according to the New York Times, and it seems like a very sober business reporter, it's the New York Times, I'm sure he's a left-wing lunatic, but at least, in his reporting on business, this is just a serious, somber reporter, and he said it was an unusual loan for Apollo. because it was 3 times larger than any other business loans they had made. Also, a lot of these businesses, one of the buildings that received the loan was not the 666 building, but the 666 building that Jared bought for his family for $1.8 billion. It had sold like the year before for something like $1 billion. So everyone said at the time, "You're overpaying. This is the most that any building in New York City has ever gone for. The price per square foot." And yes, it's turned out to be a total money pit. So they're desperate for financing. The money is coming due. I mean, that always looked like what was going to be the biggest problem in terms of hiring Jared. His company needs money. They have been seeking loans for a decade for this building now. They've been desperate for infusions of money. And it's not a question, it's not, I mean, it's kind of shocking, I think, that he's meeting with people who are loaning the family business in the White House in his official capacity. But any meetings he has post November 8th, 2016, we found out the day before that Russia, Israel, the United Arab Emirates, because of secret tapes on them, that they all knew the trouble Jared was in and planned to use that in order to influence him, perhaps to offer to get him out of this financial hole that he's in. It's a really huge problem, and it just shows how stupid our media are, that all they want to talk about is, you know, this General Kelly joke today. I keep turning on TV today. Okay, you've had 24 hours to process probably the biggest scandal, like I say. It's certainly looking like it since Fast and Furious. And it's all about that General Kelly joke. He's giving a speech to Homeland Security where he used to be the secretary. And he's talking about his promotion to White House Chief of Staff. And he said, you know, I loved you guys. I'm really sorry to leave, but I guess God is punishing me. And that's how I ended up at the White House. This is leading the news all day. That, and let's review Hope Hicks' tenure again, and chaos in the White House. No, you can say chaos in the White House any day about any administration. People come and go. Hope's been there for a while. She has a bright future in front of her.
Well, people come and go, but Trump has had way more than any other administration, Ann. You've got to admit
but
that.
It is any day of the week you can make that point, Jillian. Today is the day after there was a major scandal printed on the cover of the New York Times, and I do not think most people consuming American media know that story is of any more importance than General Kelly telling a joke.
No, it's McMaster on CNN right now. McMaster could leave by the end of the month. That's the headline. And on Fox, it's Russia reveals their new nuclear weapons.
But the big story is that 2 companies had White House meetings with Jared and later lent his businesses over $500 million. That's what this is about. Yeah.
I thought the same thing you did when I read that, Ann. I thought, okay, this is the first one I've seen. It's like, okay, stop the presses. This guy needs to go.
Yeah, I mean, I've kind of suspected if there was anything. There's obviously no Russian collusion, and the media just can't get itself off that. What does this have to do with Russian
Maybe not
collusion?
with Trump, but with Manafort and all that came out, the money that
There's
was
no collusion.
18 million.
They're all pleading guilty.
We don't know. How do you, wait. How do you say that? Mueller is still investigating.
This is the whole problem with the left.
Wait, Ann. Mueller is still investigating.
How? Scandal.
Ann, how can you?
People trying to tell you what the real scandal is, and you're dashing off on Hope Hicks and theories.
Mueller is still investigating. How can you say there's no collusion? Why would he still be investigating? He's a Republican too, Ann. He's a Republican.
Okay. We don't know what he's going to say. And
all right. So how do you say that there's no collusion? How can you definitively say there's no collusion?
Well, there's no evidence of collusion
because he's still investigating it. He's still investigating. When he's done investigating, I will go with whatever he says.
Julian, let's spend the rest of, you should spend every day talking about how Robert Mueller colluded with the Russians. In fact, he is a Stalinist spy because we know that as much as we know about Trump colluding.
Trump is being investigated. It's a big deal.
You could have colluded with the Russians.
It's a big deal.
Story.
It's a big deal.
There's a story, and you people can't concentrate on it.
No, we can. I'll talk about it all day. I think it's a joke that he's there, and it's horrible that Ivanka's there. I agree with you.
We have actual corruption.
But again, we have an actual investigation going on too.
Hypothetical stories about what what might have happened.
We have an actual investigation going on, too. And until Mueller comes out and says that there's no collusion, then I'll believe it. But no offense, how can you definitively say that? You're not investigating it. Huh?
Okay, there's no evidence of it yet, and I think
as far as you know, you're not in the middle of the investigation.
Spent on a nothing story.
Okay, we'll see.
Watergate was not spent. They did not spend this much time talking about it, and this is the problem that I was just talking about.
Well, I think we could talk about both.
This scandal gets dropped in the middle of the New York Times, and the media can't concentrate on it. No, let's talk about this butterfly.
Well, I don't think Mueller and the investigation's a butterfly. I think
there's nothing to talk about yet. There's no evidence of collusion, so all you can talk about is your speculation as opposed to this.
I'm not. You're the one speculating. You're the one, Ann, who said there's no collusion. I didn't. I said I'm going to wait to see what Mueller says. He's the one investigating. I'm not. You're not. So you and I have no. We have no idea.
We're going to wait. Let's wait.
But we do know that Jared Kushner. We do know that Jared Kushner has been, accepted $500 million while he's in the office, and that's absolutely ridiculous. And I'd like to know what Trump's going to do about it. Probably nothing.
Well, it makes everything suspicious, as I was saying. I think it makes me now reflect back. Oh, that's why today was the day Hope announced she was going to resign, because she was thinking of resigning for months, which is perfectly plausible. And again, that's what the New York Times has reported. Wow, it seems like a weird day to choose, the day after your testimony. Doesn't that make you look kind of bad? It's like a guy suddenly, resigning to spend more time with his family in the middle of the Me Too explosion. Well, okay, maybe you really just want to spend more time with your family. And it's the same thing with Hope Hicks resigning the day after her testimony. Why would you pick that day unless you wanted to distract from this story?
All right, Ann, we're going to have to leave it there. Thanks so much for stopping by. The new column is out at AnnCoulter.com.
Yes, it is. It's a Boffo column.
Fantastic. Go check it out. And don't forget to follow Ann on Twitter at Ann Coulter. Thanks so much, Ann.
Thanks, Ann.
Goodbye.
All right. If you want to weigh in, 800-222-KABC.
You didn't frankly have the balls to put country before party.